What's up, party people? This is Tarkus Jude Mossberg here from Facebook. Jude's Junk, Facebook comic book shop, and YouTube channel. My shop should be up again soon back on Facebook. Here in Idaho, sun going down. It's a ski resort right behind us. But I've been meaning to talk to people about trades. When do you do it? How to do it? And I did a video a while back of people want to know secure ways to do trades. There really is not a secure way to do trades. One way that people told me to do it that I've never really used and it was way too expensive was both people pay PayPal goods and services, and then you're both covered. But I'm sure there's a way to scam that. So it really has to be trusted. You're looking for a lot of referrals on social media. Be careful. People try to give fake references. They'll try to give you references that are people that they've sold to via PayPal goods and services, and that's not a good reference. You're looking for references for people that paid cash or for people that did a full-on trade. And usually if you're looking for references, that would be more expensive books if you're trading more expensive books, smaller books. So is there a safe way to do it? No. You've got to have a reputation on Facebook. You've got to have references. You've got to have referrals. And those of us that have been trading online for the last 4 or 5 years, between all of us, you put out a post and say, hey, can anybody vouch for me and this guy? And usually you'll get 2 or 3 vouches at least for everybody. So it really is pretty up there, isn't it? So there's no real safe way to trade. If you can find someone you trust, I would say watch how they communicate. Scammers communicate poorly. They do it on purpose. The less information they can give you, the less likely they'll get caught scamming. So they're going to be very one-word answers, very short answers. Maybe they don't even capitalize. Maybe they don't speak English as a first language. That could be a science, could be someone in another country, but then they're going to have you ship. Trading overseas is even more difficult. I've done it to Canada, some big books, but then shipping is expensive and now maybe even more expensive. So usually for big books, we'll do that. But the better question or more recent questions that I've wanted to answer is, how do you trade? What dollar amount do you put on? And I've seen everybody do anything under the sun. I mean, there's a million different ways to slice this pie. So there is no right answer. One guy might sell his book for $1,000 PayPal goods and services, and he might do a 20% increase for trade value. But he might give you more for your trade value than recent fair market value. So although the trade value is 20% higher, he's maybe giving you more or less for the fair market value of your current book. So those are 2 things to consider: is if you're trading your book, what's your fair market value? And that has a wide range of margin. And the other guy has a wide range of margin. And not everybody is looking for a dollar for dollar trade. Some people are. And if you want to do that and they have a book you really, really want, then you go for it. You have a book sitting around that's been on for sale for years, it doesn't sell. You have another book you really like and they want to do with the trade, great. Some people are stores and they'll trade all day long. If it's a high-end book, Silver Age key, major keys, and they'll do it and then they'll mark it up 20%. I know the guy online, Bryce Comics, kind of has that in place, that he'll buy books. And I think he's paying, I think if he buys the book, he's paying up to 80% cash. And if he's doing trades, then I think he has a set fixed amount. Me, I don't do it the same way. If I say my book's $1,000 PayPal goods and services, then I will trade it for $1,000. But that doesn't mean that if the 90-day average is 500, but the last sale was 375, I'm going to give you 500 for your book. I'll probably do less than 375 trade value, and then you'd have to do the rest cash. And then that would have to be PayPal friends and family. There is no PayPal goods and services when you're doing trades, because anybody can say, hey, I didn't get the book, report it, and then get their money back. And so they would have to trust to trade cash, friends and family, Venmo with the book. So everybody can do it differently. Some people are more concerned with the trust than they are the dollar for dollar equivalent. Some people are more concerned with, hey, I'm not going to do 375 because it's worth 400. I'm not going to pick a penny less. You know, everybody's all over the board. So you find someone you trust, you like the way they work with it. You got to understand, I got booted off a group because I did a trade for a $25 book, and he was pissed that I sent it really, really cheap mail. I was like, the $25 book, I'm not going to pay $15 of shipping for a $25 trade book. Okay, forget it. So I don't even do trades anymore. $100 trades anymore isn't necessarily, I can get pretty cheap shipping. So maybe I'll do a $100 trade if it's just a book. Maybe I have 3 copies of in 9/8, and then, sorry, I'm shaking it around. My arm's getting tired. So, but he has a $100 book that I really like and want. I might just do it. Just maybe I would do that with someone who's a longtime client of mine, more likely than a brand new person. So there is no set rule for how do you do a trade, how do you do a markup. There's no set rule for how do we figure out fair market value. The last sale could be $350, but if I can find it on eBay for $325 right now, that doesn't mean I'm going to give you $350. So last sale might be the lowest of the 90-day average and maybe even lower than the 1 to 2 year average, but that doesn't mean you're going to get the last sale. So everything's subjective. You negotiate, you be polite, you try to find someone that you want to deal with. And the trades that I've done with some people, there are some people that can't sell a large book. They don't have the client base that wants to buy a $7,000 book. So they might take $2,500 in key books, ASM Silver Age, that can always sell, and $2,000 cash for a $4,500 book, because it's harder for them to sell a $7,000 book. They may not be willing to do financing. And these are all specifics because I just did a trade for that kind of book just recently. And I have clients that buy larger books, so I can move a bigger book easier, especially because I finance. He wasn't willing to finance. He had buyers that said, hey, I'll buy that book from you, but I need a year to pay it off. And I am happy to finance clients. So I might take a bigger book and it's better for me, and he might take the smaller books because it's better for him because he can move those smaller books. So it all depends on your client base, if you're buying or selling, if you're just doing it for your collection. Everybody buys and collects differently, so there's no set rules. So when someone gets on Facebook and says, what is the standard bump? There is none. There is no standard, especially when it comes to trading. You be polite. If you want to ask what you want to ask, you better be a dealer. If you're asking $1,000 for a book and you're bumping it up 20% for trade, what that means is you might be willing to trade for anything, and you're a dealer, and you're well trusted. And so you might be able to get away with that because I'm going to give you a whole bunch of junk I can't move. And sure, I'll do the $1,200 trade value. But I don't trade like that. I only trade books that I like, that I think I can move easy and or really like or very unique. So a lot of people come to me with trade ideas and they're like, hey, do you like this book? No, I only collect 9.8 after 1975. I only collect 9.8 keys. I like some signature stuff. I don't really like moderns. I like some special signature stuff. Todd McFarlane, Scott Campbell, some big artists, bigger books, over $500. So I'm not the guy who you bring a bunch of 1980s 9.2s to trade. But there are other people out there that might do that. They might just look up your fair market value and say, hey, that last sale was $30. I'll give you $30 for it. So everybody collects differently. Anyways, if you're asking these questions, I guess they're good questions. You're trying to get an idea of what everybody does, but there's no one absolute rule. So happy hunting from the north, and stay safe. Bye-bye.